Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, bringing you my next black and white Pokemon analysis. Today we're going to be talking about this new fossil Pokemon known as Archeos, so let's get started. First off, this Pokemon is a rock and flying type, similar to Aerodactyl, which is also a fossil Pokemon, so it's kind of cool to think about them like related to one another in some respect. But anyways, the thing about this Pokemon that is kind of terrible is its ability is up there with Traunt and Slow Start. And what I mean by that is that its ability is probably one of the worst abilities any Pokemon could possibly have. Basically, Faint Hearted is an ability that when you are below half your health, so 50% or lower, your attack and your special attack goes down. So if you are fighting and you think you're going to take something out and then they hit you and you go below half your health, chances are you won't be able to kill it on the next turn because of the attack and special attack drop that you get from this ability. So it's kind of terrible, and I will believe this will kind of discourage the usage of this Pokemon, but its stats are incredible, which is one of the reasons why people might still possibly use it. But it has 75 HP, which is not a lot, it's just like a decent number. And then 140 attack power, which is ridiculous. And maxed out, that's over 400 attack with a nature that also increases your attack. Its defenses are garbage, or not really garbage, I guess, but they're just bad for this Pokemon, especially since you have low HP and low defense, making Faint-Hearted activate more often than you might think it would, because essentially if you get hit by anything, you'll be below half health, which is really unfortunate. Its special attack is also really good too, so you could utilize that as well if you wanted to change things up. And its speed is also excellent with 110. So this Pokemon is an incredible attacker, but its ability is such a drawback to an extent. But there is kind of a way around it, which I at least figured would be the best way to preserve this Pokemon's incredible strength. So let's take a look at two sets. One's physical and one is special. The first of these sets is going to be the physical one. So we give Archeos a jolly nature, meaning it has increased speed and decreased special attack. It has the ability Faint-Hearted, obviously, and it also does not get a Dream World ability, which is incredibly unfortunate for this Pokemon. Its EVs are 4 for HP, 252 attack EVs, and 252 speed EVs, because always having more speed is generally better than having more attack, and even with a jolly nature and not like an adamant nature, your attack is still incredibly high and almost reaching 400. As for the item, it's a Chesto Berry, because once this Pokemon drops below half health, it's kind of useless to an extent. So having a Chesto Berry will allow you to use rest to recover your HP, because you have no other means of recovery, which is so unfortunate. I really wish this Pokemon got Roost, but it doesn't. But as for your attacking set, Rock Slide is probably going to be like your main stab move. You could use Stone Edge with it, but because of the ability and stuff like that, I'm going to stop talking about the ability, I'm sorry. But it has a Stone Edge obviously has a greater chance to miss than Rock Slide, even though it is significantly more powerful. So it's really up to you which to decide, but I would go Rock Slide just to be safe. As for its next move, it is a physical flying move, and it was recently added to this generation. And it only has 55 base power. However, if you are not holding an item, it actually has 110 base power, so it's doubled, which is great, because after you rest and use the Chesto Berry, you'll no longer have an item, and then you can utilize Acrobat to its full extent. And you might be wondering, alright, why just give it no item to begin with? Well, rest gives you like a second chance to do damage, essentially. And the worst part is that you are weak to Stealth Rocks, so you'll already be without 25% of your health as soon as you switch this thing in, generally. So you gotta have a way to keep its HP up somehow. As for its last move, you could either use Earthquake, Dragon Claw, or Crunch. Basically, those are like the three other really good physical moves that it gets. And they all have their uses. I personally would choose Earthquake because I feel like that would be the best bet because of the coverage and stuff it gets. But Dragon Claw is good because it's only resisted by Steel, and Crunch is good because it can work against Ghosts and Psychic types. So it's really up to you, but I'd go EQ. And then obviously Rest, as I said before, to work in conjunction with the Chesto Berry to recover your health in hopes that you will be able to keep really high health the entire time you're using this Pokemon. On the other hand, you have a special attacking set, which is probably not going to be as powerful as the physical one because of its incredible physical attack, but it's still one you could use because it might take your opponent by surprise if they think you're using a physical one. But Timid Nature this time because that increases your speed but lowers your physical attack, and then the EVs for attack are going into special attack this time. Everything else is essentially the same. And then for your main moves, you have Ancient Power because that's the only special rock move it gets. It unfortunately does not get Power Gems, so that stinks. But it always has the added chance of possibly boosting your stats, which is always a great thing, so that could be used effectively. Earth Power is its next move, and it's just a special ground move, and then Focus Blast, which is the special fighting type move. And I know that in the last set I said I would go with, Rock Slide over Stone Edge because of accuracy, but this Pokemon doesn't really learn a lot of special moves to utilize its great special attack, so Focus Blast was kind of the only option, even though it does have low accuracy, but it's still useful. And then obviously Rest to pretty much give you 2 chances to do as much damage as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much all this Pokemon, or at least all I could think of for this Pokemon at the moment. And I know some of you probably are wondering, well, why not use like a Choice Banded set or a Choice Scarf set? Well, the thing is, as I said before, if it's losing 25% of its health every time it comes in, if Stealth Rocks are up, what's going to happen is that you will essentially only be able to go in once if you're using a banded set. So, for example, if you switch this thing in and then use any move, and this Pokemon actually also learns Head Smash, which is its strongest rock type move, so that could be used to just do a ton of damage to whatever the heck comes in one shot and get that over with. But if you're using a banded set and they come in, or a scarf set, and they come in on something that resists you, you're going to have to switch out, and then the next time you switch in, Faint-Hearted will be activated. So you're already just having like a bad Pokemon at that point. So it's really unfortunate. But another thing I would be toying around with is possibly using a Sash on this thing and using it possibly as some kind of lead, because it does learn Endeavor, so you could just do a ton of damage at first to whatever you want to, and then when that thing tries to take you out, you can just use Endeavor because you actually are really fast with your 110 speed. So it's another idea, but I didn't feel like putting it into an actual set because it didn't seem that creative, because a lot of other Pokemon can do the same thing. But that's about it for this guy. Yeah, so I will see you in my next video, I guess. Bye.